actually, this is as real as it gets.
Hey, this is Marcia Prince, IFBB Bikini Pro and Guest Berry Nutrition spokesmodel, and you are listening to the UCW radio show, In Your Face.
The number you have reached, 911, has been changed to a non-published number.
You're listening to UCW Radio. In Your Face.
Welcome to the UCW radio show. We have another great guest waiting to come on the show today. She's a comedian, actually a stand-up comedian. She's an actress, writer, host. She's been on numerous sitcoms. She made guest appearances on a lot. She's been in several films. She's toured all over the place. And she's making people laugh coast to coast, continent to continent. You know, she's also an animal lover. And you're going to find out more about that when we bring her on, because I'm going to lead into that, because I think you're going to want to hear her story and learn more about what she's done with animals and whatnot. But anyway, she's on hold, so without further ado, let's bring on Rebecca Corry. Rebecca, welcome to the UCW radio show.
Thank you for having me.
No, you got it. Well, thank you for coming on. I'm happy to have.
Well, I hope so. I think I can live up to it. We'll see.
I think you can, and I don't think I would say otherwise, because you scare me a little bit.
Well, I'm glad we got that out.
Yeah, we got that
out.
You got that out of the way, yeah, for sure. But I know how you roll. Yeah, but I want to know our listeners to. I mean, look, you've done a lot of things, and I don't want to come at you with canned questions and cookie cutter stuff, because it's not going to work here. You know, you've done a lot of things, you know, from CBS, Fox, King of Queens, Wayne Brady show, so on and so forth. You have a lot. You have a lot of stuff that you been through and you've done, and a lot of stuff on your plate. So maybe I'll just let you just tell us a little bit about what you're doing, what you've been doing, and what you have going on.
Well, I'm always touring and doing stand up, so I'm always doing that because I love stand up comedy. I'll probably do it until I die. And I'd love to be at that last show too. I'm sure that's going to be really I can't wait to see what I'm saying when I'm 80. But I've been doing stand-up touring around the country, traveling with my pit bull, Angel, which is always a huge part of my life. And I've been auditioning, and I have a new comedy album coming out May 29th that'll be available on iTunes and Amazon. At the end of the summer, it will be in stores like in Best Buy and Walmart, stuff like that.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, so I'm excited about that. That CD is called My Story, and so I'm headlining this weekend at the John Lovitz Comedy Club for my record release performance, and I'm developing an animated series based on a podcast that I do with my friend named Joanna Stein. It's called Two Manly Ladies, and It's really fun. I love that. So we have a great animator out of Dallas who's animating it with us. So we're going at that at a few different angles, and that's about it. You know, I did stand up at the Improv last night. Angel wants to be a part of this interview, obviously.
Angel's a part of it. She's a part of everything you do. That I know.
I know she is. She is. And then I'm going up to Seattle in a couple weeks to. Hey, Mrs., stop it. I'm going up to Seattle to kick off Petapalooza up there. I'm going to do a show, and then, I'm in November 4th is going to be another stand-up for Pits that I'm producing at the Hollywood Improv here, and, just always moving, always shaking, writing, and all of that,
But you're from Seattle originally, right?
I am. Well, I'm not from Seattle proper. I'm from outside of Seattle, a little town called Kent, which is like just it's just white trash, pregnant teens and like El Caminos.
Well, why don't you tell us tell us exactly what it's like.
Well, I'll tell you what. You pull into Kent and you get a soft aroma of hot dog water.
Okay.
So that's what it smells like: hot dog water and bad perfume.
All right. Well, bad perfume we can do without. But I was there. Then I was in Chicago for 10 years, but now I've been in LA for like almost a little over 12. So I love LA. This is my home, and I met you doing the Pitbull anti-dog fighting event. Yeah. Yeah. But
when's the next one of those?
I have no clue. I have to find out. But with the stuff that you're doing for pits, anything that we can do to be a part of it, just say the word, and then we'll.
Yeah.
I'll do whatever I can do to help. You know that.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, I do know that, and I we'll call on you in November. I was really excited this year for my birthday on Facebook. I made my wish that my birthday wish to raise $1,000 for Angel City Pits, which is a little tiny rescue here that does a lot of good stuff with pits. And we raised like $1,400. It was amazing.
Nice.
Well, so I love, I'm just as passionate about that as I am about, doing stuff in the entertainment industry.
Well, those are your two loves, you love entertaining people, and you love your little missus there that, you have a story with Angel, and maybe our listeners would like to hear that one.
Well, Angel was, she is like the most unbelievable thing that has ever happened to me, I have to say, and just a blessing. I had a German Shepherd. This is going back it's probably been 6 years now. Yeah, 7 years ago. And she passed away suddenly. She was 11 and a half, and she had her spleen burst, and she passed away. It was devastating. And I had another dog too, a Dogo Argentino, massive, two huge dogs, and he was only a puppy, like 2 years old when my German Shepherd Samson passed away, and I was devastated at her loss, obviously. And then a year later, he got kidney failure, and he died at 4. And I was a disaster. Like, I tried to keep him alive as long as I could, but it was just awful, and it was, as gut-wrenching as it comes, and one of the most horrific experiences I've ever had to go through, like making that decision, and sort of, it's just such an unnatural thing to play God to anything. Like, when is it the day that it's going to happen? It's just crazy. So went through that, and I was like, I'm never getting another dog again, because I just cannot deal with the pain of it. It's just so brutal, the loss. And so about 3 weeks went by, and it was just like the weirdest thing ever, because I'd been without a dog. I'd never been without a dog, actually, for years and years, since I was 20 years old. So it was just so weird. I just felt like life just felt so weird and unbalanced, and I just didn't have like any focus. I was just so depressed and so horrified. So obviously I find myself on Pet Finder, and I didn't really know much about pit bulls at all, other than, I had been a Mastiff owner, and everyone always said that he would look like a pit bull, even though he didn't. But, my dog Walter, he didn't look like a pit. He looked like a Dogo Argentino, big giant head, and, over 100 pounds. But people were always like, is that a pit bull? And I didn't really know much about pits. I hadn't even really heard the horror stories, if you can believe it. So, I was online on Pet Finder, and I read Angel's story, and her story was that she was found running in South Central Los Angeles with a male pit, and half of his face and a big chunk of his side was missing.
Wow.
Obviously, he had been fought, and her ears had been removed with either what appeared to be scissors or, razor blades, and so they were uneven and scabbed up and badly mutilated. And then someone had also dumped battery acid or some sort of acid down her back. So she had no hair on her back, and her back was a giant open wound. She had a broken tail, and she had just had puppies. And she was running with the male. Now, when the South Central Animal Shelter, this is like a crazy story. I hope you have time for it, but this is like crazy. When the shelter got the word to go pick up the male dog, I guess someone had called and said reported the male dog. They showed up, they found him, and Angel was with him.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time, her name was Gina, not Angel. We'll get to that. So the South LA shelter picked them up, brought them both into the South LA shelter, which is one of the highest kill shelters in the United States. And the male passed away in surgery. He did not make it.
Oh, wow.
And Angel did, but she was considered a leave alone. And what that means is that when a dog comes in that's in that condition that has clearly been, obviously, she was not a puppy either. I would say probably anywhere from 3 to 5 years old. They leave them alone in a cage because they're not sure how they're going to respond to other dogs.
Mm-hmm.
So it's obviously she was used as a bait dog or tortured and mutilated. So they were just she was a leave alone. Well, after about 3 days, and she never got up. She just laid down. She was like broken. There was this woman who works at the shelter. Her name is Tamika Johnson, and she will forever be my hero. She saw in Angel's face that there was no reason for her to be a leave alone. That she had no violence, no aggression. She was just a broken soul. So Tamika would go in there every day, crawl into the cage, and clean her back and hand feed her because Angel would not stand up. She was just so devastated, exhausted and malnourished and just broken.
Mm-hmm.
Tamika started hand feeding her. A couple weeks go by. Angel starts healing a little bit and kind of starts responding. She's staring at me now as I'm saying this.
She's like, "Why you talking about me now, Mama?"
Yeah, she's like, "Why are you saying my story, Mom?" So I know, Angel. I know it's a big deal. She's looking at me so intently, like she knows what I'm saying. So pretty soon, the rest of the staff yes, I know. Pretty soon, the rest of the staff fell in love with Angel, of course, and they all started going in. Every time I say her name, she wants to speak. So they all started going in and taking turns feeding her, and then they started taking her out of the cage and walking her around and bringing her up to different cages and noticing that she didn't do anything aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
They brought her up to cats, they brought her up to other dogs, and she didn't do anything. She just wagged her tail. So then she became the staff favorite, and they kept her there for 2 months, which is unheard of. They got her on antibiotics, and they were cleaning her back and applying ointment or whatever. She was healing up pretty well, and then they just, of course, as LA does, ran out of room. So Tamika Johnson every day was posting out to local rescue saying, "Please come in and get this dog. She's got no aggression. She's amazing. She loves people. She loves dogs. She loves cats. She loves everyone. Please come and get her out of here. She's only known pain her whole life. She needs a chance to know love. She just can't live this life and then die in here. She needs to be pulled." No one could do it because all the rescues in LA are so full, and of course the shelters are so full, and no one could pull her. And on the very last day, she was red listed. She was set to be put down, and her name was Gina. As I said, that's what Tamika had named her. She sent out an urgent post, one last-ditch effort, saying this dog is so beautiful and so lovely and amazing, and we will lose her today at the end of the day if someone can't come and get her. And this girl who owned a little tiny rescue here didn't own it. She just worked for it. There's only 2 volunteers. They only have 4 dogs. And she saw that the dog's name was Gina and her name was Gina. So she was like, "Oh, forget it," and drove down there and got her.
Oh.
And she got her pulled from the shelter, and then some woman was fostering her that had a bunch of other dogs and couldn't really do it for a very long time, but she just was like, "Oh, we just got to get this dog out of there," because the story just killed her. It was just such a constant thing. And Angel was in foster care for a month and then blew out one of her knees.
Oh, wow.
So she had to have a knee replacement surgery, and that was a TPLO, and that was a $5,000 surgery, and this rescue's really short of funds, and they were like, "Oh my gosh." And then she was that the knee started not healing right or whatever, and then that's when they posted her story, and that was 3 weeks after the time that I had lost my dog Walter. And I read this story about how about Angel. I actually contacted the rescue about this blue male that looked really similar to my Dogo. I mean, he was just big-headed and stuff like that, just a big old oafy kind of dog. And they said he'd been adopted, but that they had this other dog named Angel. And they forwarded me your story, and I read it and was like, all right, look, I will foster. That's all I can do because I just lost my dog, and it was thousands of dollars to keep him alive, and it was just not worth it for him or me. It was just horrible. I don't want to take on another, medical case, and I certainly don't want to take on a dog permanently. And they were like, well, she just needs a place to stay, just where there's no other dogs or kids, where it could be quiet. She just has to heal. And she just had her knee replaced, and she keeps running on it, and it's not healing, and she's limping really bad. And I said, all right, I'll meet her. So they brought her over, and I, looked at her and was like, yeah, right. Yeah, right. It wasn't like, bells and whistles and all that. It was just sort of like, yeah, all right, because it was just so, I was so in still so much pain and whatever. And here's this limping dog that's like afraid of every sound, that rolls on her back and hardly walks with her head up. I'm like, all right, well, fine, you can leave her here and that's it. And they're like, well, would you help take her to the vet and stuff? I was like, no way. I can't take on another medical dog. I just went through hell. I can't do that, but I will provide her a really great place to heal, and I will feed her and do everything I have to do. And they were like, all right, well, cut to about 2 weeks later, of course, I'm now taking her everywhere to the vet, and not thrilled about it, but I'm like, they suckered me in, as they do, which they're always shorthanded, so God bless them. I'm taking her to the vet, and then I'm like, man, this is like turning out to be another nightmare, but I'm like, I love her, she's fine, but she just is like mopey, and she cried the first whole day I had her staring out the window when they dropped her off. And I was like, you know what? I looked at her at one point and was like, you know what? You shouldn't be crying, okay? So you should reel it in a little bit, okay? You're lucky, we're not doing so great here. So about 3 weeks go by and they call me and they say a family is interested in seeing her. And I was like, really? Because she'd been up for adoption now at this point. It had been like months, like 8 months or something like that. I can't remember. I'm getting the timelines all screwed up. But I know that she'd been available. They had taken her to adoption and stuff for months, and no one would even touch her because they thought she looked scary, which is hilarious to me now. So they, as I came to pick her up and they were walking her out of my building, I kind of like looked at her from behind as she was walking away, and I got this sick feeling of like, wait a minute, where are you going? Like, this is crazy. So I just was really uneasy the whole time she was gone. And then when they came back, they were like, oh, the wife of the family doesn't want a pit bull. I went, great, she's mine. So I ended up adopting her, and I said, the only stipulation I have is like if her other knee, because the doctors were saying her other knee is probably going to go out too because she's endured so much violence, kicking and fighting. Who knows what's happened to her.
Right.
I said, if her other knee goes, you guys got to step up to the plate. We got to get a grant or do something to help her because I can't take this on again. And they were like, no problem. Cut to 6 months later, her knee blows and they're nowhere to be found.
No, of course not.
Of course not. They're nowhere to be found. And they're like, too bad, so sad. That's your dog. I was like, okay, here we go. So I, had a benefit. We raised money for her, and then she got cancer. And she's since then had cancer 4 times and still is battling it. She ended up having 8 surgeries I've had her for almost 4 years. In July, it'll be 4 years. So she's had 8 surgeries since I've had her. But I got to tell you, she is a complete testament. She's just like an amazing ambassador for the breed, and I got her certified as a therapy dog. She travels all over the country with me.
Nice.
She has changed the way that people view the breed and the way that people, she just changes the way, the stereotypes, the horrible stereotypes about pit bulls by just simply being who she is. And since then, she's been on, we've done tons of TV shows, and we were featured in Fido Friendly magazine. They did a 3-page, huge spread on our whole story, and she's just been an inspiration. She's inspired people to adopt pit bulls. She's, I just can't. It's hard to put into words how amazing her life and her story really is, and I just feel so lucky to have her. I mean, you know, people are always like, well, so glad you saved her, you know, and it's sort of like, well, I'm pretty sure if you broke it down, you know, it's pretty obvious she saved me. There's no question about it. So, you know, that's the story. That's why I always tell people, you know what, always get the one that you think that, you know, the cute little floppy-eared ones, they're all amazing. If I could have 1 million dogs, I would, but sometimes those dogs that don't really have a chance or get a chance, they're sometimes the best ones, you know?
Yeah, no, I do know that. I mean, I had, and you know, like with pits, I've had 3 of them myself, and they are the greatest dogs that I've come across. You know, they're there for you, and actually, my pits cracked me up. But
I know.
Yeah, they're funny because just the eye movement when they're annoyed with you, like and then you see that rolling of the eyes and the eyebrow goes up like the Rock. It's like, you know, really, seriously.
I'm telling you, if Angel could talk, I would be scared as to what she had to say. I really would.
She would probably do stand-up.
Yeah, she actually probably would. It's hilarious. I'm headlining, like I said, this weekend, and she's coming to the show. She's on the cover of my album and on the inside, obviously. And she's coming to the show this weekend. She's seen me do stand-up before. She's actually been in the audience, and it is hilarious. Like, she hears my voice on the microphone, and she like howls a couple times because she just is like, what? And then she sits completely intently staring at me. And then when I'm done, she starts howling again. It's hilarious. So I'm so excited for the show this weekend. She's going to love it, too.
Oh, I'm sure she is. She's your number one fan. I know that.
Either that or she's like, get a job, bitch. Could you please get out of it?
Yeah, but I think...
This is what I want to tell you.
Yeah.
I got to tell you this, though, before I forget. This is what's crazy, okay?
Go ahead.
So, a year after I adopt Angel, this is what's so crazy. I'm sitting up, I'm having lunch outside at the Sunset Lemley up on Sunset Boulevard, and we're sitting outside, and this woman walks by, and she stares at me really, really hard, and she's staring at Angel really, really hard. And I was like, you know, the hair goes up on my back. I always tell people, you don't need to worry about my pit bull. You need to worry about me. Okay?
Right.
I'm your problem, not my dog. So I was getting ready to say, oh, what, you know, I was waiting for her to say something ignorant about pit bulls, and then I was going to go on my spiel about how she should read a book and pull it together. And she's just sitting there, and she's like staring, and I was like, you know, can I help you? And she's like, is that Gina? This is crazy. This story's crazy.
Oh, wow.
And I know, this is crazy. And I go, yes, it was Gina. It's now Angel. And I didn't name Angel. It was the rescue named Angel. But I said, yes, she was Gina. How would you possibly know that? And she goes, I was a volunteer at the LA shelter when she came in, at the South Central shelter. And I said, are you kidding me? And she's like, no, I was there the day they brought her in, and I worked there with her and everything throughout the whole time she was there. And I said, do you know Tamika Johnson? And she's like, yeah, she's my best friend. Because I always saw Tamika Johnson's name on all the posts.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, what? And she was like, oh, my God, I cannot believe this. And I was like, oh, we were freaking out. And she goes, I'm calling Tamika right now. You have to talk to her. She will freak out. She always wondered what happened to her. And I was like, oh, my God. She calls Tamika. I'm like, Tamika, my name's Rebecca Corry, and I own Angel, previously known as Gina. I can't believe it. She starts bawling. I start bawling. The other girl starts bawling. We're all just like, this is crazy. And Tamika was just like, I cannot tell you what it means to me to know that she was saved and that she's living the life that she's living. I can't believe it. And she gave me her email address. I sent her tons of pictures of Angel. We're friends on Facebook, and now Angel, is on their wall of success stories.
Nice.
And just crazy. Is that crazy or what?
That is crazy. I'm going to give kudos to Tamika Johnson. You know, if there were more people out there helping animals the way she has and having that heart, I think a lot more animals would, find the right homes and have a shot. You know, you just got to care a little bit. I had I don't know if you're familiar with Chris DeRose, but I had him on. Yeah, he did some work with Cesar Millan. He has Last Chance for Animals, and in L.A. and the stories that I heard from him, as far as the puppy mills, because he put a big battle trying to get rid of those things. And the stories I heard from him, it's like, wow, but when you hear about someone like Tamika Johnson and what she did and how it wound up, in your lap, it's just amazing. I think that's great stuff. That's really great stuff.
Yeah, it is. It's proof that, that one woman's effort has now spun into an Angel story being televised nationally, is inspired several of my own friends to adopt pit bulls, has inspired Stand Up for Pits, which has raised thousands of bucks for pit bulls, it's all inspired by Angel, but ultimately started with Tamika. So it's like, I wish people did realize that those efforts are not in vain. That one woman has probably, consequently, because she took those 2 months with Angel and fought for her to have a chance, she has probably saved hundreds more.
Yeah.
Because those ones that were not, that are getting pulled from the shelter, they're getting spayed, they're fixed, they're going to homes. Mm-hmm. I myself have saved some. Friends of mine have saved some. It's like really, really cool. She is no doubt my hero. I don't know how she goes to work every day and sees what she sees.
I mean, it's tough, and I've been to those shelters, and just to deal with, life and death on a daily basis. I mean, that's a mind screw without a doubt. So she has to be a very strong person to deal with it. But then there are a lot of, there are a lot of Tamika Johnsons out there. Their stories just aren't told. So maybe this will spark something.
Well, do you know one thing I'm kind of bewildered by is the fact that there always seems to be, when it comes to animal rescue, I myself only know about 2 men and the rest are all women. And I was wondering what has been your experience in that, and do you kind of notice that too, that and it bums me out kind of, because I feel like men are they're no more influential than women, but I mean, when a man is standing up for an animal, in some ways, because I guess what I'm trying to say is I don't believe that whoever did that to Angel was a woman. It could have been.
I doubt it. I doubt it. Yeah, but you know what? But man, woman, or whatever it is, and I'm going to speak real frankly about it, that whoever did that to her is really a piece of shit. And that's what it comes down to.
A piece of shit, a sociopath. It's a broken human being who obviously who's missing a lot in their life too. But my point is if more men stood up about the ethical treatment of animals and more men got involved, their influence on other young men that might consider doing this to animals, I think would be far more effective than them just blowing off weepy women, quote unquote.
Yeah.
These weepy women just, they're just bleeding hearts. No, this is a social issue. You mutilate an animal. I'm sorry. I believe you have the ability to mutilate a person, to steal, to rob. You're not right.
No,
There's something missing.
And I agree with you. That's why I mentioned Chris DeRose, because a guy like that has been put in prison and everything for what he does, standing up for the animals. He fights for the animals. He has gone to jail for the animals. And if anyone, again, he was on Cesar Millan's show, The Dog Whisperer, and if anybody knows his story, And if you're especially a male, you would get inspired to do the same and follow suit. Yeah, I hate to do this in mid-thought, but we have to take a quick break. We're going to be back and, continue where we left off.
Hey, you want to see something cool? Check this out. My name's Anitra, and I'm going to rock your world. Wow.
Oh, my gosh. Look at that.
Wow. Oh, my God. Along with my boys, Mikey and Joey, I need to chill out with Brother Stack. We're knocking down walls and taking names. Your brother's actually getting something done. And everyone gets to play.
Progress is slow. We should be finished by Christmas.
Girls with power tools, rule. We're not just bringing back the den, baby. We're making mega dens that'll blow you away.
Wow.
Anitra, it's unbelievable. That is cool. You want some of this? Facial recognition, motion activating. They're gonna wet their pants.
This may be the coolest room I have ever seen.
Because life is too short to live without a mega den.
Sometimes, man, we get so wrapped up in our busy to notice what's going on around us, what's going on in our world, in our communities, in our own backyards. It's crazy, y'all. Check it out. She was 5 years old, sold into slavery. Her mother gave her up and traded it to make a fee. And she was forced to service up to 30 men a day. And when I see the world, I'm seeing is my daughter's face. Could it be that we so busy that we pass it by and never stop to take a look up in a child's eyes? The hopelessness and brokenness, shedding tears as I thought about and wrote to this. Man, but is there hope for this? It's all around the world. It's estimated 27 million boys and girls. Lord, I don't wanna be the Pharisee in Luke 10. Just passing by, help me be like the Samaritan. I wanna care for them, lift them up, extend a hand, and let them know about you, Lord, and how you got a plan. And let them know about your hope and love, and let them know that there's a way out if they won't give up. Listen, help us, Lord. I don't wanna pass and see another child caught in traffic, so I ask and plead. Does anybody hear? Does anybody see? Can anybody help? Can anybody please help us, Lord? I don't wanna pass and see another child caught in traffic, so I ask and plead. Does anybody hear? Does anybody see? Can anybody help? Can anybody please? 16 and from a poor family, travel looking for work to better herself financially. A little tired, so she headed back up to her room without the knowledge of the evil that would happen soon. They entered the room dressed up like officers, beating and fighting and stripping the clothes up off of her. Bleeding and naked, they proceeded to rape her. She kept telling them no, they continued to take it. And then they snatched her up and took her to a foreign land. And then they made her sell her body to a foreign man. And all the while they gave her drugs to keep her in a trance. She tried to kill herself to take away the pain she had. This is real, it ain't just happening to little girls. It's happening to little boys too around the world. I know it's hard to see so vivid and graphic, but these are the stories of children, it's called a traffic. Help us, Lord. I don't wanna pass and see another child caught in traffic, so I ask and plead. Does anybody hear? Does anybody see? Can anybody help? Can anybody please help us, Lord? I don't wanna pass and see another child caught in traffic, so I ask and plead. Does anybody hear? Does anybody see? Can anybody help? Can anybody please? Now I ain't telling you these stories trying to make you scared. I'm trying to speak to you the facts to make you all aware, so that you maybe care about that girl around the corner. It's happening right here from Florida to California, and we can come together, y'all, and really make a difference if we just open up our eyes to see and ears to listen. Another child missing every second we've been wasting, so we can look the other way or we can stand and face it. Can you hear these screams? Can you hear their cries? Can you see the hurt and pain coming from their eyes? Hearts just torn as young as at the age of 4, but now imagine if the one they took away was yours. What can we do? I'm telling you, let's take a stand, and we can let the devil know that these are demands. You need to let him go. You need to let him go. Oh, in the name of Jehovah, you need to let him go. Help us, Lord. I don't wanna pass and see another child caught in traffic, so I ask and plead. Does anybody hear? Does anybody see? Can anybody help? Can anybody please help us, Lord? I don't wanna pass and see another child caught in traffic, so I ask and plead. Does anybody hear? Does anybody see? Can anybody help? Can anybody please help
Okay, before we play the Tara London song "Chasing Rainbows," I just want to touch on a little something. There's an epidemic going on globally, and it involves child trafficking. I'm not going to really get too much into it, but what I'd like you guys to do is to go to loveneverfailsworldcharity.org. They'll give you a whole host of information that you probably don't know about. It's a billion-dollar business, and it involves trafficking children into, modern-day slavery. They have an event going on May 30th in L.A., where you're going to have Knicks star Jeremy Lin. He's going to be singing, believe it or not. He's going to perform in a musical, and he'll be donating all the proceeds to loveneverfailsworldcharity.org. Okay, and this is to help stop child sex trafficking. The musical is going to be at 8 o'clock p.m. P-Coast at the Zephyr Theater at 7456 Melrose Avenue, Los Angeles, California. And to get more information, just go to brownpapertickets.com. That's brownpapertickets.com. Go there, look for the show starring Jeremy Lin, and you'll be able to go see it. All right. Again, for more information on that, just go to loveneverfailsworldcharity.org. That's loveneverfailsworldcharity.org. And all right, so now let's head on to Tara London and Chasing Rainbows.
Sitting in a coffee bar, watching the world go by. She lights a cigarette, breathes it in, starts to cry. She holds on tightly to her suitcase of memories. Then she whispers softly, "This isn't how my life should be." Don't go chasing rainbows. Not all that glitters is gold, and you don't know what the future will hold. Chasing rainbows. She said she'd been around the world 100 times, seen a lot of things, good and bad, not worth a dime. Doesn't matter what you do, what you say, this world just keeps on spinning every hour of every day. Oh, don't go chasing rainbows. Not all that glitters is gold, and you don't know what the future will hold. Chasing rainbows. Chasing rainbows. Don't go chasing rainbows. Not all that glitters is gold, and you don't know what the future will hold. Chasing
All right, we're back with Rebecca Corry, and let me let's continue on with what we were talking about. Let me try to get my thoughts in order for a second. But yeah, I think that if because you look like with this Michael Vick situation that happened. Okay, he's in the spotlight. Doing something like that kind of sends the wrong message to the youth, and that's where it all begins. Yeah. That's where it begins.
Yep.
100%. Yeah, and I agree with you that there has to be some type of change because look, you look at the dog like Angel and what she's been through. It's horrific. It's really horrific. And
it is.
I want to hug that dog right now, but she's too far away.
Yeah. Listen, you're right. And I'll tell you, there are people who, when I tell them the story, they obviously see her back, and they ask, and it's a normal question to ask, what's happened. And when I tell them, many people start crying. Many people it's a very visceral reaction because it's a human being. It's one of us. Mm-hmm. We did that. Upright walking people did that to this animal. And what she went through wasn't an isolated incident. She had been endured years and years of torture. Mm-hmm. And for her to show nothing but love toward humanity who did that to her, I mean, I guess we can all learn just from her,
Well, just if more people were like that towards people, that'd be interesting.
Yeah, I have a feeling we probably wouldn't have wars. I have a feeling we would all be a lot better off.
Yeah,
but
we'd have rainbows in the sky and flowers popping all over and everybody preaching love. But that's not the way. That's not the way we're built as human beings, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. No, we're not.
You and I can preach it until somebody cuts us off on the road, then we have a problem. So.
Oh, I have road rage beyond. My goal is to live long enough where I can have road rage in a flying car.
Oh my God!
Yes, that would be.
That'd be some scary stuff. Oh my God!
But that's what I dream of. That's what I hope for.
That's hilarious. Hey, Rebecca, let me ask you a question. I want to go back to your career. I love talking about Angel because I love that dog, but I want to get to your career. Now, you've been on a lot of sitcoms. You guest starred on King of Queens, Bernie Mac, Wayne Brady, and you've been in a number of movies. I'm curious. I mean, how did you get on King of Queens? I want to hear that story because your character on that show, when you were going to beat the living crap out of Kevin James, it was hilarious.
That's why you're scared of me, right? Is that why you're scared of me?
Oh, you're damn right.
That is hilarious. People say that to me all the time, especially men. They're always like, "Oh my God, you look like a psycho." Well, I am really good friends with Gary Valentine, which is Kevin James's brother in real life. I've known their family for a lot of years since I first moved to LA. 12 years I've known the whole family, and I'd known Kevin had been on the show, had been going on forever. And one day I got a call that said, Gary called me and was like, "Hey, they're writing this role for this like crazy chick, and it's based on one of the writers' experience." At first, it was supposed to be in a DMV, and what happened was this guy Mike Socio, he was the writer of the episode. He was at the DMV, and some little tiny girl was behind him, and she goes, "Will you save my spot?" And he was like, "Yeah, I'll save your spot." Well, then she came back and she like cut in front of him, and he's like, "Well, no, your spot is the one I saved, but it's behind me," something like that.
Right.
And then she said to him, "You want to go?" And he was like, "What? Like, I'm not going to hit you. Like, that's insane." She was like, "I will kick your ass." Like, she got real crazy. So at first the scene was supposed to be like that with Kevin, and then they changed it where it was going to be this girl at a diner, and he goes up and gets the food or whatever. And so my friend, Gary was like, Kevin thought of you for it because, he thinks you're a psycho. I was like,
nice.
Awesome. So, or, he thinks I could play one. Or maybe he thinks I'm one, whatever. So I was like, cool. And he goes, it's a big role. It's a really great character. And, it's basically the whole plot of that episode. And I was like, oh my God, that's awesome. So I still had to go audition. And then I had to be tested in front of, the network. I had to read in front of the network and everything to be okayed. But, it was just so easy for me. It was just so funny. And Kevin is so funny, like the way he responded to me. And actually in those scenes there's this one point where I tell him I'm going to gut him like a deer. And we had to shoot that, at least a dozen times because he could not stop laughing. He could not handle it. And then there was another part of toward the end of the episode, I'm pacing outside waiting for him. And I'm like peering in through the window outside of the restaurant. And him and Victor, who's awesome, who's also on the show, every time they had to turn to look at me, they just couldn't take it. They just started laughing. We had to do that so many times. And I was like, oh my God, stop laughing. And they're like, you look ridiculous. I was like, what? Yeah, because the window was like so high and it was only just like my neck up that you could see. It was pretty awesome. I loved that job. I've been so fortunate. I've gotten to do, I love doing sitcoms. I've done tons of pilots too. Pilots are really fun. It's a bummer when they don't go, of course, but I love it. I love being in front of the camera and I love being on stage, and I also love writing too. So I'm definitely doing what I should be doing and hope that I can do it for the rest of my life. That'd be good.
Well, you are going to do it for the rest of your life because you're built for that. You're made for that.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. I'm pretty lucky. I have a pretty cool job. There's a lot that goes with it, but at the end of it all, it's pretty awesome to be able to be creative and make people laugh and make a living at it. It's great.
Well, but you love what you do, and this is something that has been inside of you probably since you're a little kid.
Yeah, for sure. People are always like, well, how did you know that you were going to be a comedian? It's like, well, let's say I quit growing in 6th grade, so that's my first clue. And then, being from Kent, Washington, and being from the family I'm from, of course you can't, my family is outrageous. You can't, my dad lives in a double-wide trailer now. You can't not be a comedian and come from that.
you got to laugh at yourself at some point, don't you?
Yeah, you got to have some humor in life. That's what it's all about. So, yeah, I'm really, really lucky. Really lucky. How did you get involved in dogs, the pits?
Well, I've had, pit bulls for years. I rescued the ones that I had. And,
okay.
I gave them as good a home as I could because one was abused and the other one was just roaming the streets, and I took them in. And actually, one of the ones that I saved, my brother was handicapped. So I actually had him go with my older brother, and then that was his best buddy. And then when my brother passed away, basically, I brought both of them together. And, then I've always had, just knowing how the breed is. And how affectionate they are, and then the bad rap they get out there. Anytime I have an opportunity to do anything for these animals, I do it. And
that's awesome.
Yeah, that's why I said with you, anything you need, it's about picking up a phone and saying, "Hey, Lou, I need your help." Yep, I'm there.
Well, listen, the November 4th at the Hollywood Improv is any sort of. The more people that know about it, the more people will come, because we do a dog adoption from 4 to 7 before the show. So the rescues will bring pits, and hopefully, we can find them some homes. And the more people that know about it, and if they can't make it to the show, or they can donate online and change some lives that way. So I'll definitely call on you. I really appreciate what you're doing too.
No worries. Let's work it. Let's get it done. Let's get exposure for what you're doing with the pit bulls. Basically, these dogs need as much help that they can get, because again, it goes with the bad rap, and then what these these people do, and they, with the dog fighting and all that stuff. I mean, just imagine taking your kids, throwing them in a cage, and watching them, maul each other. That doesn't work. There's something wrong with that. This is not the Roman Empire. There's something wrong with that.
Yeah, it's like I think what we can do in 2012, what people should be focusing on, is getting jobs and working in this free world that we live in. But we live in the United States of America, and not building rings and morbidly fighting animals to the death to win money in a kitty. It's absolutely outrageous.
Yeah, it is, and we can only do what we can do, same way. I do a charity to bring awareness to child trafficking. You can't prevent it, but all we can do is bring awareness to it.
Yep.
So.
That's all we can do, and that's going to be, we'll do that as long as I'm breathing. I will continuously bring awareness to the ethical treatment of all animals, and my heart going out specifically to pits too. Yeah. Since they're the ones that are being targeted so crazily, like they're being banned everywhere. It's like it's crazy.
Yeah, it is. But look, I'm by your side with all that stuff. So let's rock and roll and get that stuff together. Now, Rebecca, what else do you have going on now? Because I want people to follow you on Twitter, Facebook, follow you anywhere, because your career is, you have a dense career. Not that you're dense, but you have a. But you have.
I was like, wait, what? Wait. What? No. Do have them follow me. I love picking fights with Yoko Ono on Twitter. It's one of my favorite things to do. And I'm always touring. I'm always doing shows, so they can check me out in their city, come to one of my live shows, and hit me up and tell me they're coming, and I'd love to meet them. And they can always, watch for when my album is coming out and how they can get that. They can also, by following me or friend requesting me on Facebook, they can, see when I'm doing any charity events for animals or pets, and come to that and support in any way. And I just shot a thing for VH1, the 100 Sexiest Artists or whatever, did all that comment, the Talking Head show. Yeah. And that'll start airing in about a month. And, I always update everyone when, stuff I'm doing is, happening. So plus all my podcasts too, they can listen to Two Manly Ladies and check out the animated, the animations of it. And
is there a website for that?
It is. It's swirlaroo.com.
Who to what?
It's Swirlaroo. It's SWIRLAWOO.com. Swirlaroo.
Swirlaroo.com. You got to check that out and see your animated series that'll pop up at some point.
Yeah. And we're working on a lot more. I think right now we have 4 episodes up there, and 2 or 3 are animated. We have teasers animated. It's just really fun, and we're working on developing that with a production company right now to take out to hopefully be on Adult Swim or Comedy Central. That's what our goal is. But they can listen to the full 1-hour podcast, which are absolutely hilarious. We talk about a lot of things ladies probably shouldn't talk about, but it's really fun.
Well, then that's why they should be listening. Maybe they won't talk about it, but they'll listen.
Yeah, they will. And even if they act like they don't relate, they will.
Yeah, they'll go in the bathroom and chuckle. I know how it goes.
Yeah, absolutely. So have them. Yeah, follow me. I would love it.
Yeah, follow they got to follow you on Twitter, Rebecca Corry. That's that little asterisk, that little A thing at Rebecca Corry on Twitter. Follow her and find out what she's doing, what's going on, the whole 9 yards. And you have an event this weekend, was it?
Yeah, it's this weekend at the John Lovitz Comedy Club at Universal City Walk, and it's at 8 o'clock, and Kyle Dunnigan is opening for me. He's a very funny comic, too. And I'm doing an hour, and it's to celebrate my record release. And that's at Universal City Walk in Universal Studios. So that's really fun. You can go to johnlovitz.com to get tickets.
Okay.
And, at Facebook, it's Rebecca Corry. There's a fan page, and then there's my regular one. And, click on both of them. I'll probably accept your friendship unless you're holding a dead animal in your profile picture. That's where I draw the line.
Yeah, you have to draw the line somewhere.
I had a guy friend request me who's holding a dead deer, and I was like, no. And then at Twitter it's the Rebecca Corry.
Oh,
so,
the Rebecca Corry. See,
why
didn't you correct me? My God, you're sleeping
because
on the job.
Because you did say the. You said the, but you said it like kind of quiet. But you did say it.
Did I say it?
Yeah.
All right,
you did.
Because I get blonde moments, but I'm not blonde at all.
No, I can tell you're not blonde. But no, you said but you said it real fast and kind of quiet. So I just wanted to reiterate.
No, it was the Rebecca Corry, the Rebecca Corry, and then you have your website, which is RebeccaCorry.com.
Yeah,
I got that right.
That's right, you did. And my last name is spelled Corry.
Oh, they know that.
Oh, they better know
they
that.
I mean,
people
aren't sleeping on the job. They know who you are. They know how you roll. They know everything about you.
Right.
Right. That's it. that's the way it goes. That's the way it goes. Okay, and then now your record's you're gonna have promotion on your website, or how can they find out when it's gonna be released and stuff?
Well, I will definitely put the release date. It's May 29th, but I will put that up on my my website and also on Facebook, and I'll tweet it as well. And they can go to, like I said, any Amazon or iTunes.
Mm-hmm.
They can download the whole album. So, and if they don't want to download it and they want to buy a hard copy of it, it's going to be available in Best Buy and a couple other stores. I'm not sure which ones yet at the end of the summer. But I'll always be updating.
We still have stores? I thought everything was going online.
We actually do have stores. I know, it's so crazy. It's like I asked my record label, I was like, really, do they still put CDs in stores? That's so crazy. And he was like, actually, they do, yeah. Some people still do it old school, so there you have it.
Yeah, well, there you go. So you're all over the place. You are an international phenomenon.
An international phenomenon. Well, I don't know. And Angel says hi to everyone. And whoever... Oh, here she comes. She let me say her name.
You got to bring her.
There she is.
Where is Angel?
And, Angel, do you want to say hi?
You got to say hello.
Angel, say hi. Do you want to say hi?
Oh, yeah, now she's quiet. Nice.
Now she's like, no, you've been ignoring me.
Yeah, oh my God.
You got to see the pictures of her on Facebook, and I tweet pictures of her and stuff too when we're on the road. She's so funny. So, yeah, find me, people.
Yeah, for sure. And when are you going to be on the East Coast? Are you going to make any appearances on the East Coast?
I only have, as of right now, I'm doing a theater. It's in DeLand, Florida. But nothing in New York. Nothing in New York as of right. I'm doing the Athens Theater on June 23rd. That's also on my website. But no, and everyone keeps asking me that. But it will change. Next year I'll be out there and get some dates. But I
think the club owners have to kind of tap you to bring you in, because you'd pack the house without a doubt.
Oh, it'd be really fun.
Yeah,
I love the East Coast. I love the New Yorkers. I love all the East Coasters. So yeah, it would be great. I'll try to get some dates out there.
You got to make it
happen.
I'll
let you know when that happens. I will, for sure.
Got to make it happen. All right. Any last words, Rebecca?
Just spay and neuter and love pibbles as much as you possibly can. That's it. Support them.
Excellent, excellent. Look, it was great having you on the show. I had a lot of fun, and I want to bring you back on. Maybe once you have other stuff going on, so we can talk about it and just have a lot of fun as we do. And just let people know what's going on, because I mean, you and I can stay on the show forever, and we won't get bored, but we don't have forever, so we're gonna have to have another segment, I think.
That's great. You let me know when, and I would be more than happy to, my friend.
You got it, Rebecca. You enjoy and tell Angel, well, she got quiet, that dog. I was hoping she was going to say something.
No, she got mad, so she's done now. She's giving me a filthy look. She wants to go on a walk, so I'm going to do that for her. And but she sends her love. Know that.
Yeah,
and let me know when this airs or a link or whatever you got for me, and I'll send it out.
No doubt about it. Give Angel a hug, and I'll speak to you soon. Enjoy your walk.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
You got it. Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Initiating shutdown sequence.
What is your major malfunction? So let it be written. So let it be done.
Ladies and gentlemen, my mother thanks you, my father thanks you, my sister thanks you, and I thank you.